ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. One of the important elements in Krishna consciousness from which the bhakti begins is dash. Okay, Shraddha and Shravan and Sadhana. Okay, mercy, Sukruti. Okay, Shravanam. One heavy word you people are missing out. Yes, surrender. Yes. So it all begins with surrender. Someone said Shraddha. So according to the definition given in Madhurya Kadambini and what Srila Prabhupada defines in his purports and in his lectures is surrender. He says spiritual life begins from surrender, and he quotes Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. He quotes that shloka. Shraddha Shabda Vishwasak hai Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita hai. Just by doing Krishna Bhakti, everything else will be taken care. There's another shloka that Prabhupada quotes to help us understand that the beginning of spiritual life is surrender. In fact, who is a devotee if this question is asked? What will be your definition? Who is a devotee? Okay, the one who does Kevala Bhakti. Yes. And? Completely surrendered to Krishna. Yes. If someone looks at you and they chant Hare Krishna, it means you are a devotee. Yes. See, simple definition which our Acharyas give, Rupa Goswami gives, is the one who engages oneself in the 64 angas of devotional service, one or more limbs. He is called as a devotee. Only these activities. That person is called as a devotee. Now, what is the importance of Sharanagati in our sadhana bhakti? This we need to understand as devotees, as sadhakas. See, we are doing Navayuga Bhakti, we are executing the Angas of Bhakti, that is 64 Angas of Bhakti. So that has to be done with surrender. Then the sadhana becomes very effective. Sadhana minus Sharanagati will not lead us to anywhere. So sadhana plus Sharanagati is what is needed. What is needed to advance in Krishna consciousness. In fact, the beginning itself is Sharanagati. Prabhupada writes, the real devotee, however, first offers a surrender to Krishna with his body, mind and words, and then uses his body, mind and words for service of Krishna as Krishna desires. See? The beginning is surrender, where you offer your surrender through Kaya Vacha Manasa and then engage Kaya Vacha Manasa in service of Krishna. Such a profound statement. As Prabhupada writes in 7.5.23.24. When it comes to Sharanagati, Sri Vaishnavas are the ones who speak a lot about Sharanagati. They are very clear that the goal of life is just to be a Sharanagata Bhakta. Sharanagati. And they have 3 Sharanagati mantras that they chant. Anyone knows 3 Sharanagati mantras that they chant? One is, which is very famous, from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Huh? Yes. Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Masucha. Surrender unto me, Krishna is saying in Gita 1866. Then there is one shloka from Varaha Puran, which they chant. Yes. Vatadi doshena madbhakto mam cha nasmare aham smarami madbhaktaha nayami paramam gatim. Sometimes speakers, to encourage the audience, they say that if you are not able to remember Krishna at the time of death, Krishna will remember you and he will come. And all the devotees, Haribo! But now here is a very important understanding that we need to have. Which devotee? See what Krishna is saying. Vatadi doshena madbhakta mam chana smare. Because of kapha pitta vayu dosha at the time of death, which will block all his limbs of the body, especially choke the throat. How will the person be able to remember Krishna? This was the question. And Krishna is saying, Aham smarami, I will remember. Aham smarami madbhaktaha and nayami paramam gatim, I'll take him back home, back to Godhead. So which devotee? Surrendered devotee. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishami. I will deliver you from all the sins. Which devotee? Surrendered devotee. One more shloka that the chant is. This is from Ramayana. They refer to Ramayana a lot. If you see, the maximum commentaries given on Ramayana is by Sri Vaishnavas. And they see entire Ramayana as consecutive events which display this aspect of Sharanagati. And they learn a lot from Ramayana. The beautiful shloka which Lord Ram chants in the presence of Vibhishan. Sakradeva prapannoyas tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadam ye tadvratam mama. Lord Ram is saying, I've taken vrata. What is that vrata? That anyone who prapannaha, who surrenders unto me and says, Tavasmi, I am yours. To such a devotee, dadami, I give. What? Abhayam sarvada. I give abhayam. I make that person fearless. So which devotee Lord is making fearless? Surrendered devotee. So these three shlokas are the three mantras of Sharanagati for the Sri Vaishnavas. That makes a lot of sense, you see. And in our Sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have the great pillar of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He has written a book on Sharanagati. I don't know how Bhaktivinoda Thakur was getting time. Yes. So whenever I inspire devotees, Prabhu, join Brahmachari Ashram. What are you doing? So devotees say, Prabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a grasta. I'll follow in his footsteps. All the best. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is next level. How many books he wrote, how many songs he wrote, managed 10 plus kids and his office work. It's very fascinating to study about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had his own train in which he would sit and go from his house to his office and back. I always feel, this is the swag of our acharyas. Next level. I don't think ever in the history, even a materialist might have got this luxury of having his own engine and own bogie in which alone he'll sit and travel from his house to his office. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes 50 songs on Sharanagati. Not one or two, 50. And he describes systematically the 6 limbs of Sharanagati in 32 songs. And then in 13 songs, he expresses bhajana lalasa, eagerness to serve, bhajana lalasa, eagerness to serve, worship. And then in 3 songs, he expresses his intense desire called siddha lalasa, to attain perfection. Eagerness for perfection. So our acharyas, they have written different songs. And you will see all these songs can be categorized in different categories. There are some songs which are meant for higher stages of devotional service. And there are some songs, which are meant, for sadhakas who are struggling hard to overcome their own anarthas and come to a certain level of Krishna consciousness. So we have to sing songs at our level, and then sometimes also we can sing other songs which the acharyas have given. So 50 songs on Sharanagati. And one of the song where he lists down the 6 limbs of Sharanagati is in the introductory or invocation song of this book, Sharanagati. So we'll sing this. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu jivedaya kori svapashada swiyadhaman saha avatari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu jivedaya kori So Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended all the way from Goloka Vrindavan. Has he come alone? Saha Avatari. Sviya Dhama Saha Avatari. He has come all the way from Goloka Vrindavan with his abode and with his associates. Why has he come? What he wants to give us? What he wants to teach us? Atyanta durlabha prema karibare dana shikhaya sharanagati bhakater prana atyanta durlabha prema karibare dana shikhaya sharanagati The four Purusharthas. What are the four Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Someone was saying, no meat eating, no gambling. ISKCON में कोई 4 बोला तो चालू हो जाता है. So 4 Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Pancham Purushartha is Krishna Prema. So many people, the followers of Vedic scriptures, strict followers of Vedic scriptures, they know these 4 Purusharthas and they aspire for it. They aspire for Dharma, Artha, Kama and towards the end Moksha. But only very few, they know the secret about this 5th one called Pancham Purushartha or Krishna Prema. And this Krishna Prema is very, very durlabh. That is what is given here. Atyanta durlabha prema karibare dana. So Lord Chaitanya came for giving this. Atyanta durlabha prema. Very, very rare. Very rare. Even the one who the one who aspire for going to Vaikuntha, even they don't have this luxury of having Krishna Prema. Obviously they aspire, but then they don't get it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very easy. He just came to distribute. But then, how he distributed that? By teaching a very, very important thing. And that is Sharanagati. See, Krishna told in Gita, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. But how to do that? How to do that? Maybe Krishna realized it later that I should teach this personally. And he descended himself as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he teaches how to surrender onto the lotus feet of Krishna. Sharanagati. Therefore he said, Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana. That is the life and soul of devotees. Sharanagati is the life and soul of devotees. And then he says, now he lists down the 6 angas of Sharanagati. Dainya Atmani Vedana Gopatratve Varana Avashyarakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana Dainya Atmani Vedana Gopatratve Varana Bhakti anukula matra karair svikara Bhakti pratikula bhava षडanga Sharanagati Hai Bejahara Tara Prarthana Shune Shri Nanda Kumara षडanga Sharanagati Hai So here, many times people say, why Lord is not hearing my prayers? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I'll tell you why. Because Lord hears prayers of whom? Shadanga Sharanagati Hoibe Jahara Tahara Prarthana Shune Sri Nanda Kumar. The one who are surrendered onto the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna will hear their prayers. Amazing answer, no? Why Krishna is not hearing my prayers? Because you're not surrendered. So what are the 6 angas? Shad anga Sharanagati. What are these Shad anga? Dainya, Atma Nivedana, Gopatratve Varana, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa, Palana, Bhakti Anukula, and Bhakti Pratikula, Svikara and Varjanangikara respectively. So these are the 6 of them. And we have a shloka from Sri Vayu Puran and Vaishnava Tantra, which normally we chant when it comes to 6 angas of Sharanagati. Please repeat. Anukulyasya sankalpa Pratikulyasya varjanam Rakshashyati vishvaso Gopatratve varnam tatha Atmanikshepa karpanye Shadvidha Sharanagati. So 6 sangas. I don't know how much justice I'll be able to make for all the 6 sangas today, but we'll see. At least the first 2 we'll try to elaborate it in detail. Anukulyasya sankalpa, accepting everything favorable for devotional service. That's first one. Anukulyasya sankalpa. Second is pratikulyasya varjanam, rejecting everything that is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, to devotional service. Rakshashiti vishwaso, having strong faith, strong vishwas, strong faith on one thing, that Krishna will always protect me. Gopatratve varnam tatha, having this firm conviction that Krishna will maintain me in every situation and circumstance. Atma nikshepa, self-submission. Karpanya, humility. These are the 6 angas of Sharanagati. So when we say I surrender onto the lotus feet completely, it means you are following the 6 angas of Sharanagati. Just imagine if this definition was not given to us. How will we understand what are we supposed to do in surrender on when we say surrender onto Krishna? One devotee was saying, Sir under is surrender. And where? Under whom? And do what? All glories to our acharyas who have given all technical details of how to do it. All glories. Without them, we cannot understand how to execute this abhidheya or sadhana bhakti. Very difficult. Therefore, one after another, when we discuss these different angas of Sharanagati, we'll realize that first 2 are something that is there in our hand. We can do it. The next 4 should manifest from within. We can practice that, no doubt, and we should practice to show Krishna that I want to surrender onto your lotus feet completely. We have to practice. But first 2 is something that we can practice it to a great extent. But next 4 are something which has to manifest from within. Let's see one by one. First one, Anukulyasya sankalpa. So, nectar of instruction or Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami talks about Shadabir Bhakti Prasidhyati. So, those activities, if we do, our bhakti will increase, our devotion or devotional service will intensify. So, that shloka is Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangatyaga Sato Vritte Shadabir Bhakti Prasidhyati. First one, Utsaha. Utsaha, enthusiastically engage everything in service of Krishna. So this is something that is very favorable that we are supposed to do. See, whenever we talk about favorable and unfavorable in Krishna consciousness, at least in ISKCON, immediately devotees would say, favorable, chant 16 rounds. Unfavorable, give up the 4 sinful activities. See, giving up 4 sinful activities just helps a person to become a human being. That's it. It's not that you become some Shuddha Bhakta by giving up 4 sinful activities. Even Jnanis give up sinful activities. Karma Yogis give up sinful activities. Dhyana Yogis give up sinful activities. What's so great about giving up sinful activities? I don't do illicit sex. I don't do intoxication. So what? So what? And you can also say, I don't have bhakti. So therefore, it should be very clear that by avoiding 4 sinful activities, we are not doing some very big task. That is something that is expected and that is something which is very normal in the Vedic culture. So therefore, there is something more to accepting that is favorable and rejecting that is unfavorable. And that's what our acharyas are putting it forward for all of us. First and foremost, utsaha. Enthusiastically engage everything in service of Krishna. Second one, dhairya. So one should have this confidence that Krishna will help me to successfully execute devotional service. This will also come in one of the angas of Sharanagati, Rakshashitite Vishwasa. But still, here, Rupa Goswami is mentioning, we'll discuss this also. Confidence that Krishna will help me to successfully execute devotional service. And then, Utsahan, Nishchayat, Dhairyat, patient. So one has to be patient. What he should do? Execute the instructions of the spiritual master very patiently. One of the examples that comes to my mind, executing the instructions of spiritual master patiently, is Shabari. How patient she was. Patiently she was executing. In the young age, she was given instruction by her guru that you stay here. Lord Ram will come and he will give you darshan. We all are going back home, back to Godhead. Very difficult, no? We would have told Guru Maharaj, mujhe bhi le jaliye na. I also want to come. But then she stayed back. Best part is she is the only one there. And every single day, she's decorating the entire street. She's plucking the berries and she's keeping it ready. Every single day. And she'll sit right from early in the morning till late evening, waiting if my Lord is coming. If my Lord is coming. And like this, she was young, she became very old. And she continued. And guess what? The instruction given by spiritual master, when it is executed properly, surely the devotee will be able to get the result. And she met Lord Ramchandra. She personally fed berries from her own hands. This is called as execute the instructions of spiritual master patiently. This is what Srila Prabhupada did, executing the instruction of his spiritual master. Whenever you get money, print books. He did that. Preach to Western crowd or English crowd. He did that. He kept everything as a note and he made sure that he executed that. It was not easy. It was not easy. He established League of Devotees, that was taken away. It was destroyed. And then Prabhupada started another thing. If you see, you can do this activity in Prabhupada Lilamrit, check the 7 principles that Prabhupada has given for League of Devotees and check for what he has given for ISKCON. It's same. Only name changed, that's it. But whatever he wanted to achieve is the same thing that he gave at that time itself when he set it up League of Devotees. How patiently he executed the instructions. And then Tat Karma Pravartanat. So Tat Karma Pravartanat basically means executing the angas of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So this is the most important point. Accepting what is favorable for Krishna consciousness basically means doing all those activities which are mentioned by our acharyas, which will help us to advance in Krishna consciousness, and specifically engaging in the 64 angas of devotional service. All glories to Rupa Goswami. How precisely he has given 64 number, and he says you have to execute this if you call yourself as a devotee. And then Sangha Tyaga. No, Sangha Tyaga, in this only it comes, no? Yes, Sangha Tyaga. So putting it in a positive way, associating with only like-minded devotees. Sarjatiya Bhakta, like-minded devotees. Or to start with, forget about like-minded, associate with devotees first. Then find out like-minded other things. Yes, first associate with devotees. Only word is also important. Association, I hope association is very clear. Dadati pratigranati goyam akhyati prachati bhungte bhojayate chaiva shadvida priti lakshanam. So if you open your heart to someone and you hear that person in confidence, then it means you're associating with that person. But just like that, sitting on a lunch table and talking to the other person doesn't mean that you're associating with that person. Yes, giving gifts and then receiving gifts. Oh, that is also a way of associating. Sometimes devotees ask, Prabhuji, I take prasad for my colleagues also. So, bhungte bhojayate chaiva. You give and then you have to receive also. So, just give, don't receive. Yeah, so, we'll leave it half the way. And one more, sixth one is Sato Vrittehe, following the teachings of acharyas in the parampara. So, accepting their teachings wholeheartedly and executing that is something that is very, very favorable for Krishna consciousness. So, in short, if I have to say, executing the instructions given by Guru, Sadhu, Shastra is favorable for Krishna consciousness. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the song Tuva Bhakti Anukula, he lists down the favorable activities of Krishna consciousness. So he says, Tuva Bhakti Anukula je je karya hoy parama jatane taha koribo nischay. So see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing song on our behalf. And how a devotee should speak and what a devotee should speak, he is saying this. Tuva bhakti anukula je je karya hoy parama jatane taha koribo nischay. I'll surely execute with full determination, utmost care, what? The favorable activities to pure devotional service. And then he says, Bhakti anukula jata vishaya samsare koribota hate rati indriya dvare. So he's saying that I'll feel fondness for those things of the world which are favorable to devotional service. I'll be fond of those activities which are favorable to devotional service. Koribota hate rati indriyera dvare. And with my senses, I'll engage in those favorable activities. So when we sing this, it will be like we are saying this. So this is our acharyas. They write it in such a way that any devotee who sings it, he'll sing it or he'll feel it that he is the one who is saying it. And surely he'll be able to execute it. Shunibo tumara katha jatana koriya, dekhibo tumara dhama nayana bhoriya. He's saying that Shunibo tumara katha jatana koriya. So I will sit amongst your devotees and I'll hear your katha, Krishna katha. So sitting together and hearing Krishna katha is the first thing that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is highlighting here as the favorable activity, Shravanam. And then he says, Dekhibo tumara dhama nayana bhoriya. And I'll visit the holy places. I'll go to different holy places where you have performed pastimes. And with these eyes, I will take darshan of all those holy places. So even taking darshan of the holy places is very, very important. And whenever the term holy place comes into picture, Prabhupada says, wherever Krishna is worshipped wholeheartedly for his pleasure, that place is also holy. And he says, ISKCON is not different than a holy place. Provided devotees are doing that. Serving Krishna for his pleasure. Yes. Not waiting that now Rajbhog will come and I'll eat. I'll cook Rajbhog for the Lord's pleasure. So especially this is a responsibility of full-time devotees who stay in the temple. They have to serve in such a way that that particular place does not remain a building or a hall but converts into a temple. For them, the life and soul should be pleasure of Krishna, serving for the pleasure of Krishna. So yes, going to temple and taking darshan of the Lord, or going to Dham where Lord has performed various pastimes, taking darshan of all those different places, and then coming back to your respective place and closing your eyes and then try to remember all those different wonderful places. Yes. Tumara prasade deho kori beposhana naivedya tulasi grana kori bograhana. I'll nourish my body only with one thing, and that is Jain food. Without onion garlic food. Only prasad. It's very difficult, by the way. Only prasad. See, when you stay in the base or when you're at home and your family members are devotees, etc., then you get prasad. What if you're traveling? What will you do? But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying very clearly, Oh Lord, I will accept only prasad. And this is what devotees have to follow. You have to take a vow. If I put anything in my mouth, that will be only prasad and nothing else. And you have to be very firm on that vow. Very important. And then sometimes devotees ask, Prabhuji, what if I go to a place where there is no prasad available? My answer is, don't go to such a place. Life is meant for what? Life is meant to advance in Krishna consciousness, not to explore the world around. Yes. We are not nomadic tribes that you keep going around to different places and get your livelihood. Don't go to that place. Simple. I know some senior devotees, senior grahasthas. They go to only those places where there is ISKCON temple. Office work ke liye they go somewhere and then they're like, wherever there is ISKCON temple, they'll go to that place so that they can get prasad without much endeavor. And then Naivedya Tulsi Grahana Koribo Grahana. Smelling the sweet fragrance of Tulsi leaves. This is also very important. So offering Tulsi leaves and then accepting Tulsi leaves, smelling and then accepting Tulsi leaves, honoring Tulsi leaves. Then he says, Kara dware koribo tumara seva sada, tumara vasati sthale bhosibo sarvada. And he's saying that Kara, I'll use my hands for executing your service. And I'll always, forever dwell at that place where you abide, where you stay. That's so nice. Wherever Lord is asking, stay here, I'll stay there. And according to Shastra, Lord is asking, stay in Dham, stay in a holy place. Acharya is saying, stay in a holy place. So it's very important to stay in a holy place. Ideally, stay in the temple. If you cannot, if you are a grahastha, then stay in your home. But that home should become a temple. And sometimes it's so hilarious that in one corner there's a small altar which devotees also cannot see. For them, they have to climb on the stool and then stand and then see. Here's some chair or something. Have you seen that? Many houses I have seen. Kahan hai Bhagwan, kahan upar, wahan. Yes. So it should be a big altar. The place where we have the big TV, that should be disposed. And there we should have a big altar. This is what we have done. In the congregation here, around 60 plus homes we have installed big altars. Big altars. Yes. So somewhat of this size, in most other places, or somewhat of this size. So in all these different houses. And devotees say that Prabhuji is so nice now, we feel like we are in a temple. So yes, that's very important. Tumara sevaya kama niyoga koribo. Tumara vidveshi jane krodha dekhaibo. What I will do? All the desires that I have, I'll engage my desires in devotional service. I'll dovetail my desires towards devotional service. I'll not keep any desire apart from executing devotional service. What do you say? It's easy? Only having desire that I will serve Krishna and nothing else. So that's favorable. See, initially, Bhaktivinoda Thakur started with all things where devotee, I am doing all this. And then he comes to this. desires of only serving Krishna. And then showing anger to whom? Not to fellow devotees. Showing anger to the envious ones. The ones who are envious to devotees of the Lord. Like that. I'll engage even the propensity of being angry. And then he says, in this way, may all of my propensities and emotions obtain dignity and glory by being favorable to you. Very important. So our life is successful when we do devotional activities favorable to Krishna. See, simple as say I love someone, I like someone. I'll take an example of a boy in love with a girl. So he will try his best to please her. He'll do only those things what she likes. Same thing. If someone says, I love Krishna, what am I supposed to do? I'll do only those things which Krishna likes. And I'll not do those things which Krishna does not like. This is called, at least in the initial phase, we can say, these are some symptoms of love, some symptoms of surrender. Very, very important. And then, Tuva bhakta anukula jaha jaha kori, Tuva bhakta anukula boli taha dhori. I'll consider as favorable to your devotional service anything I do which is favorable to your devotee. This is also very important. How will I understand what is favorable in Krishna consciousness? What is favorable to devotees? By the way, favorable to devotees in the circle of devotional service. Yes. And anyways, I think the definition of devotee I clarified in the start of the class. So those devotees. Bhaktivinoda nahi jane dharma bhakti anukulata raho sab karma. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is saying on our behalf, I don't know what is religion and what is not religion. I simply pray that all activities be conducive for pure devotion unto you. All the activities that I do, may that be conducive unto your lotus feet. Very, very important. The first aspect of surrender is accepting things which are favorable in Krishna consciousness. And these are very, very important ones which he has mentioned here. And Srila Prabhupada has elaborated in various ways what devotees should do. Obviously, Shastra Adhyayan is there in that. Staying with devotees, doing kirtan with devotees. All those 64 angas of bhakti, which I need not describe now. So some examples that we see who did this specifically. We have Amrish Maharaj. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo vacham sivaikunta gunanu varnani karo harer mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakara chuta satkathodai mukunda linga laya darshane drishu tadbhratya gatra sparshenga sangamam granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. And he goes on. One more shloka. So in this way, he engaged all his senses in service of the Lord. He accepted those activities which are favorable in Krishna consciousness. Engaging the mind in thinking about the lotus feet of the Lord. Hearing about the Lord. Engaging his hands and legs in service of the Lord. And so on. And we have Arjun. He is telling Krishna, Karishye vachanam tava. Whatever you say, I'll do that. Such a wonderful thing. Whatever you say, I'll do that. I'll execute that. That's the mood of a devotee who executes the first limb of surrender. Whatever you say, I'll execute that. Same thing. A disciple, he goes to the Guru and he says this. Whatever you say, I'll execute that. Not that I withhold something with some asterisk mark saying, accept this. No. Whatever. Everything that is told, I'll execute. If I'm not able to execute, at least I'll contemplate on that. I'll try my best to contemplate, discuss and see if I can do something about it. Something I'll do on these lines. This should be the mode of a devotee who is executing the first limb of Sharanagati. Next one. Pratikulyasya vivarjanam. Rejecting everything that is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. See, both in acceptance and rejection, you will see activities, thoughts and association. All three are counted. So all that we have to see if it is favorable or unfavorable and do the needful. Again, Srila Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita, he tells us what we should not do. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha shadabir bhakti vinashyati He says, first one, avoid atyahar means, what is that? Overeating. Yes. Eating or collecting more than necessary. Yes. So eating more than necessary, collecting more than necessary. Very difficult to follow, no? Especially eating part. Yes. But then see, this sign of surrender, where you are rejecting things which are not favorable to Krishna consciousness. Overeating is favorable, huh? Oh, बैठ नहीं पा रहा हूँ मैं. अभी लेटना ही पड़ेगा अभी. Yes, so that is the situation. So what service we will do? Atyahara, prayasa, over endeavoring. Over endeavoring in any ways is not favorable to Krishna consciousness. How will you understand? Are you endeavoring or over endeavoring? So if my sadhana gets affected, over endeavor, yes. Anything else? If my consciousness gets polluted, yes. It's not proper. It's not in thoughts of Krishna. It's something else. It's over endeavor. Simple. These are simple litmus tests by which we can understand. Best part is devotees understand also. And the next best part is still they continue. चलता है थोड़े टाइम के लिए चलता है नहीं चलता because if you continue even for some time, the thing that will happen is when the consciousness gets spoiled, to come back to wherever we were before, it takes a long time. It's not easy. Therefore, we should be very careful. Prajalpa. What's prajalpa? Gossiping. Yes. Unnecessary things. In fact, the best thing or nice thing that I came across is prajalpa means normal talk. That's called prajalpa. But then in this world, the normal talk itself is nonsense. Therefore, itself prajalpa. So avoid the nonsensical talk. According to Shastra, prajalpa means normal talk. But so normal talk of this world is nonsense. Therefore, Acharya says avoid prajalpa. Unnecessary discussions, unnecessary talks. Even devotees, preachers, unnecessarily debating with someone on some subject matter which has no conclusion and no expected outcome, then what's the point of doing that? One should be very careful. Time is very short. Energy is less. Now why waste in all this? Prajalpa. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha. Accepting rules and regulations for material advancement and rejecting those meant for spiritual advancement. Just to put it in simple terms. Whimsically rejecting rules and regulations, Rupa Goswami says. No, ये सब तो practical नहीं है कलयुग में. We cannot do all this. We have to change. I was speaking about Karma Yoga in one place. And then there, one of the person in the audience, they asked a question. Prabhuji, can you please change it for our circumstance? Can you change the definition of Karma Yoga for our situation and circumstance? As if I'm the next incarnation of Vyasadeva. So, whimsically rejecting, saying, no, this is something that, no, I cannot do. No, that's not proper. No, we cannot do that. And sometimes just executing the rules and regulations just for namesake, not actually meaning it. And then, Yamagraha, Janasanga. This is again very important because 2 times Srila Rupa Goswami repeats. There he says Sangatyaga and then he says Janasanga, give up Janasanga. So basically, one thing that we will see in Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, the straightforward instruction given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is when he says that who is a Vaishnava, at that time he says, Asat Sangatyag e Vaishnavachar. Very difficult, huh? Asat Sangha. Especially those devotees, who are working in the outside world for bread and butter. Very difficult, you see. But then it has to be executed. Because without executing this, giving up Asat Sang, one cannot advance in devotional service. So Asat Sang should be given up. Specifically, Stri Sangi and Stri, both has to be given up. Now, this is a very important point which is mentioned. Not just these, even association of personalities like Mayavadis. Sometimes, no, he's my good friend, he's my colleague and this and that. During lunchtime, we discuss Mayavad. Yes. And I'm trying to preach him. See, we are part-time what to say, defenders or speakers against Mayavad, part-time. Yes. They are full-time. So they have much more better arguments than what we have. Therefore, we should be very careful. If you don't understand Siddhanta properly, better not to associate with such people. मायावाद भाष्य सुनिले बचा ही नहीं है सर्वनाश होने के लिए कुछ जो भी बच्चा कुछ थोड़ा बहुत है, that will also सर्वनाश. संगत्याग जनसंगश्च laulyam, this point is also very important. Always being very anxious for sense gratification, to accumulate things for sense gratification. One should give up this mentality. This is more on subtle platform. Greed for accumulating things for sense gratification, that has to be given up. So this is Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes a song, Tuva Bhakti Pratikula. There the song was Tuva Bhakti Anukula. This is Tuva Bhakti Pratikula. If you all get time, please memorize these verses. Very nice. You can see which meter this can be sung in and you all can memorize. Tuva Bhakti Pratikula Dharma Jate Roy Parama Jata Neta Tyajibo Nishchay. With firm determination, I'll try to give up all those activities which are contrary to your devotional service. Tuva Bhakti Bahirmukha Sangana Koribo Gauranga Virodhi Jana Mukhana Heribo. I'll keep company, or this is put in a positive term, I'll say it in a straightforward way. I'll give up the association of those who are opposed to devotional service. Gauranga Virodhi Jana Mukhana Heribo. Those people who are against Gauranga Mahaprabhu, I'll not look at their face. This is Gaudiya Vaishnava. I'll not look at the face of those who are against Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Fortunately, apart from Bengal and Orissa, other devotees shouldn't have much problem because many people don't know who is Gauranga. So there's no problem. But especially in Gauda Desh and Utkal Desh, it's a great problem because there are many people who speak against Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So therefore this point becomes very important for them. Bhakti pratikula sthane na kori vasati bhakatera apriya kar karye nahi kori rati. I shall never reside in any place which is not favorable to devotional service. Very important. If the place is not proper, place will influence our devotional service. All of us have to be very careful on this point. I don't know how many times I keep telling to our new boys, shift to base, shift to base. वो अपना ही दिमाग लगाते हैं मतलब नहीं हम पीजी में रह के भक्ति करेंगे. Hey, what bhakti will do staying in such a filthy place? How difficult it is. How difficult it is. And sometimes in family, for married people, when one of the spouse is a devotee and other is not, it becomes very difficult to practice devotional service. Just imagine you go to, or one of the spouses is there and other spouses, one spouse is a devotee and other one is not. The one who is not a devotee will sit and watch on the big television various nonsensical things. Now what this devotee will do? One devotee was sharing this. We were taking interviews for Prabhupada Ashray and Guru Ashray, etc. So in that the devotee was saying, Prabhu, but my spouse says that I should sit and watch TV. Or else my spouse feels bad. What should I do? Yes. We said, take Prabhupada Ashray later. Why endeavor so much? Make that person also devotee. Just a tip, just a tangent. In future, most of you are unmarried here and the maximum will get married. So say, unfortunately, if you get married to a non-devotee, just make sure that you don't force the other person to practice bhakti. Inspire the other person by your own personal conduct. Very important. Many times we see the IY boys who get passed out, they force the other person. And if that person is not a devotee, that person becomes averse to Krishna consciousness for lifetime. Then nothing can be done with that person. Nothing. Then you have to just make sure that you continue practicing devotional service somehow. But very difficult. Therefore, we have to be very mature. And right from day one, counseling should be taken from senior grastas, how to deal with the other person if the other person is not a devotee. Very, very important. I've seen both. Either male is a devotee or female is a devotee. Either of them is a devotee, other one is not a devotee. Or they create havoc in the entire family. And then counselors have to go and sit with them, counsel them. It's very difficult. Therefore, right from start, we can take care of this. But anyways, in general, practicing bhakti in a place which is not favorable to Krishna consciousness is very difficult. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I'll give up such things. Bhaktira virodhi grantha patana karibo, bhakatira virodhi vyakhya kabuna shunibo. I'll not read any book which is opposed to pure devotional service, especially preachers. Yes. I'll read this book and that book, and then I'll speak from that, which will attract the newcomers. Forget about attracting the newcomers. You will get away from Krishna. Yes. You'll become averse to Krishna. Better we don't do that. And especially pure devotional subject matters is what we're supposed to read and speak. Many times we might just beat around the bush and not speak about the subject matter. Even the devotees who are into preaching for newcomers, soon we should start speaking about pure devotional service. Soon. Now that word soon is subjective. You should decide how long or how short that should be. We cannot keep speaking things which are not directly Krishna conscious. Might be partially Krishna conscious, but it will not work. Nor that person will grow, not you will grow. And then I will never listen to any explanation which disagrees with pure devotional principles. If you follow this asat sang tyag, all these things will be taken care. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, brilliant personality, he just gave one line. Asat sang tyag ei Vaishnavachar. Just give up asat sang, everything will fall in place. Gauranga varjita sthana tirtha nahi mani. Bhaktira badhaka jnana karma tuchha jani. I will never regard as sacred any place where Lord Gauranga is rejected. So I will not go to those places. I will not consider them to be holy places. Therefore, we go to only 3 places. Vrindavan, Mayapur and Jagannath Puri. There Gauranga is at the top. Yes. And at this point, Bhaktira badhaka jnana karma tuchha jani. So any knowledge, any activity which hinders pure devotional service, basically activities of karma and jnana, I'll reject, I'll not accept. Bhaktira badhaka kale na kori adara, bhakti bahir mukha nija jane jani para. Little strong now. As I said, he puts on easy point and then he starts speaking about strong points. He says that whichever time, kala, whichever time slot or duration or whatever regarding time, even if it is favorable for material life, but if it is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, I don't consider that time to be good. Sometimes people say, I'm very lucky. Lord is today very merciful unto me. Why? Because materially so and so good thing happened in my life. No, that's not mercy. Sorry. Mercy means increasing one's taste for sadhana bhakti, for holy name, for Srimad Bhagavatam. That is mercy. And here is very clear. Even if that time, that kala is very much favorable for material advancement, I'll not consider that to be favorable. And then he said, Bhakti bahir mukha nija jane jani para. I'll consider all the relatives or family members averse to pure devotional service as strangers. I cannot comment much on this. देख रहे हमारे आचार्य strong. Yes. ऐसे घर पे जाते ही मम्मी बोल रहे बेटा आ गए. I don't know who you are. Bhaktira badhika spraha koribo varjana. Abhakta pradatta anna na kori grahana. First and foremost, I'll give up all those desires which are obstacles on the path of devotional service. See, this thing every devotee should do. Very, very important. List down what desires we have and then keep rejecting. Not good, not good, not good. Yes. This is not proper. That is not proper for devotional service. Therefore, I always say that devotee who is on the path of advancement in Krishna consciousness, he's a very self-introspective devotee. Why? He'll always self-introspect. Okay, this desire is good, this desire is not good. Because this only we will be able to analyze about desires. We're subtle. No one outside can help us with this. We only have to do it. And this is a very important. Abhakta pradhatta anna na kauri grahana. I'll never accept food offered to me by non-devotee. So this sometimes some devotees compromise on this. Even initiated devotees compromise on this. No, Prabhuji, we have to be practical. We are preachers and this and that. No. First save yourself, then save the world. Yes. So here it said, never accept food that is cooked by non-devotees. What will happen if we accept food cooked by non-devotees? Yes. Vishayar anna khaile, malin hoy man. And mani na kare Krishna rasmaran. Yes. So with contaminated mind, we can never think of Krishna. Very difficult. Therefore, this point, if we eat food cooked by non-devotees, already conscience is contaminated. Little we are purifying. Cheto darpana, marjana. And वो जो भी थोड़ा बहुत margin किया वो भी खराब हो जाएगा फिर. But this, especially devotees, who are working outside, you have to make sure that this principle is followed very properly. Especially, I don't know how will you deal with this during team lunch, team dinner and all that. Therefore, be in touch with senior congregation devotees and see what they do. Jaha kichu bhakti prati kula boli jani tajibo jatane taha ei nischay vani. I take a vow. What? I take a vow that whatever I know to contradict pure devotional service, I'll completely give it up. This is my strong desire. Nischay. Bhaktivinoda podi prabhura charane magay shakti prati kulera varjane. He's saying, he's begging at the lotus feet of the Lord, please give me enough strength to reject all that is not favorable to Krishna consciousness. Firstly, we should get clarity on what is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, and we should have enough strength and conviction to give up that. That Lord will give, if the devotee offers prayers. Give me some nice examples from Bhagavatam, where people rejected things which are not favorable for Krishna consciousness. Bali Maharaj rejected the instruction of his guru, saying this is not proper. You're saying not to surrender unto Krishna? I'll not accept. That was the mood of Bali Maharaj. Anything else? Okay. Parikshit Maharaj, when he got the curse, yes, he didn't stay back in the family and things like that. He just left everything, which might not increase his devotional service. And he went onto the banks of Ganga, and there he intensified his devotional mode. We see gopis of Vrindavan. They left everything. They left everything just to attain Krishna's lotus feet. These are some of the very, very strong examples that we have in Shastra. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have used list of examples. We can always go through all that. So these are the first two. Anukulya sankalpa and pratikulya se varjanam, which every devotee who wants to attain Krishna in one life should struggle, strive, and intensely practice. It will not be easy for sure. We are staying in a world which is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. Majority of the crowd are not into the category called devotees. But obvious to implement this will be difficult, but every devotee should strive. Every sadhaka should strive. And whenever we struggle to execute something, to surrender onto the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna will help. Because after all, without his help, what will happen? We will not be able to do anything. Krishna Shakti Vinanai Tar Pravartan. Nothing is going to happen without Krishna's mercy. But when we struggle to execute something which is favorable and rejecting that which is not favorable, Krishna will shower his mercy. Then it will be very, very easy to execute this. Okay, next 4, I'll just summarize very quickly. Rakshishititi Vishwasaha. Having complete faith that Krishna will never abandon his devotees and will always protect his devotees. Very essential principle or essential element of faith that every devotee should have. Because if this is not there, if this faith is not there, that Krishna will never abandon me and always protect me in every situation, it will be very difficult to continue apratihata bhakti. Bhakti without an interruption. It will be very difficult. As soon as I feel danger, I'll pause bhakti for some time, sort out that problem, and then come back and start executing. So it's not apratihata. There's a prati. There is pratihata. There is some hindrance, there is some interruption. That's not acceptable in pure devotional service. Therefore, this point is very important. Having complete conviction that Krishna will protect. Give me some examples from Shastra. Who had this conviction? Prahlad Maharaj had that conviction. His conviction was so great that he was not praying also, protect me. He was very clear. This father is trying to kill me, but that father will protect me. He was very clear. He would not pray also. And the Pandavas were very, very clear about this point. And to an extent that Kunti is praying, give us more problems. Because we know you will give problem, you will only sort out, you will only protect. Yes. And? Jad Bharat. Look at Jad Bharat's mood. When Jad Bharat was taken in front of Kali to be beheaded, Jad Bharat was carefree. He had complete faith Krishna will protect. And at that time, Krishna sent Kali to go and protect him. Very wonderful pastime. Kali kills her own devotees. All those dacoits who were there, she killed her own devotees. And Jad Bharat was protected. Anyone else? Dhritarashtra. Vritrasur. Okay, Vritrasur. Yes. A very secret devotee. Externally demon, internally devotee. Yes. We are also trying to be like that. अपना थोड़ा उल्टा है बस, थोड़ा उल्टा. And all the Vrindavan Vasis, मतलब कुछ भी हो, they'll call out Krishna, protect. There's huge rain, Krishna. There is Arishtasur who came, Krishna. The only thing they knew is they have to go to Krishna. That's it. But other times they will nicely play with him and nicely undermine his strength and this and that. But when problem comes, yes, Krishna. They know where they have to go. Yes, Vrajavasis. So in this way we have so many. They had a complete faith that Krishna will protect. Therefore, a devotee, you can contemplate on this, I'll not elaborate much. We shouldn't be having faith on our material capabilities and possessions for our protection. Rather than that, we should invest our faith in Krishna in every situation. So you can think about this more. Our situation should be like a small baby in the hands of parents. Have you seen any small baby getting so much of anxiety in the arms of parents when the parents are crossing the road? Aram se, is there smiling, giggling, or sleeping also. I've seen some kids sleeping. Itna horn baj raha yahan wahan, ekdam aram se soye, no problem. Nowadays that bag also comes where kid is hanging from the bag. Yes. So I've seen, the legs are out like this. And the kid is holding. And kid is in their own mood altogether. And parents in anxiety, they're looking here, there, and then they're crossing. I've seen some grown-up kids also. They'll hold the finger of the parent. And parents are worried, looking at the traffic and all that. And kid is busy. Papa that, Papa this, Papa wo dekho, Papa wo car dekho. Arey main wahi car dekh raha hu. It is going to come and hit us, wait. I've seen this when kids doing, and I suddenly remember this. This is how we have to be. This is how we have to be. Complete faith on Krishna, he'll protect. No tension. No tension. Fourth principle, Gopatratve Varana, accepting Krishna as the sole maintainer. Only Krishna maintains, no one else. And Krishna says this, he declares in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Pariupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. Krishna will protect. Krishna will maintain. He'll give whatever is needed. Whatever we lack, he'll give. And he'll protect whatever we have. Prabhupada quotes this, every time. Eko bahunamyo vidadati kaman. Who is that personality who is maintaining everyone? Krishna. One thing that helped me when I was joining Brahmachari Ashram was a very nice contemplation. That Krishna is maintaining ants who need milligrams of food. Yes. But ants are really humorous entities, I feel. Stomach to hai chotu sa. But all the time they're busy carrying something. Have you seen? Ek line bana ke ekdam. How much you will eat? Yes, ants. And Krishna is providing tons of food in every meal for the elephants in African jungles. Tons of food they eat. No? Krishna is providing that. So I was thinking, won't Krishna provide me 3 chapatis a day? Or chalo, twice a day. He'll provide. What's the problem? He's a soul maintainer. He's a soul maintainer. Yes. Very important, very, very important point, which all of us can meditate on. Because these two, the Krishna is my protector and Krishna is my maintainer. If someone understands this or someone realizes this, he'll be able to render pure devotional service without any interruption. He's just completely dependent on Krishna. Completely dependent on Krishna. And we see this in Prabhupada's life, how Srila Prabhupada implemented this. Both. He believed it and he executed it. Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer. Any examples you want to give quickly? Okay, when he was traveling in the ship, he was carefree. Yes, Krishna will take care. I'm vomiting, I don't have any appetite, I have 2 heart attacks, but no problem. Krishna will protect. He went to the other side. And yeah, I think even when he was in Jhansi, he got that letter. Yes. So Prabhupada got a letter that all his business is thup. And Prabhupada just smiled and he said, yeah, Krishna's plan. Krishna's special favor on me. Shanai, Shanai. Gradually, it takes away wealth. Yes. And Prabhupada says, he writes in his poem, Nachao, Nachao, Nachao se mate. In this way, we see how Prabhupada had complete faith on Krishna that he will protect and he will maintain. Sign of that, this executing this limb of surrender is you can go in front of the Lord and pray that, oh Lord, I am yours, do whatever you want. And then begins the game. Yes. I am yours, do whatever you want. Take away whatever you want, give whatever you want. Yes, I am yours. I am just your dog. Make me dance as you like. If a devotee is confident without increasing the heartbeat when he's offering this prayer, then yes, he's executing these 2 limbs. And few practical things that all of us can do is that whenever things are going wrong, seemingly wrong in our life, have trust that things are out of my control but are in complete control of Krishna. Krishna has the best plan. Just let me do whatever is needed now in devotional service. Let me not be a problem solver all the time solving some problem. You can always focus on this point. Very important. And all the time we can offer prayers and seek guidance from the Lord, from the devotees. That will also help to internalize Gopatratve Varna and Rakshishiti Te Vishwasa. Surely help. Last 2, Atma Nikshepa, self-submission. So Atma Nikshepa basically means giving up one's own false ego and accepting whatever Lord wants me to do. Yes. So not having any interest separate from Krishna. That is called as Atma Nikshepa, where he fully trusts the divine will of the Lord and it depends on the grace of the Lord. This is one we can meditate on. He gives up his personal desires and attachments. And he sees what Lord wants me to do. I'll execute that. What Guru wants me to do, I'll execute that. And he gives up his personal anxieties. This point is also very important. The sign of Atma Nikshepa, self-submission, is there will be no personal anxieties for his personal life. He will take anxieties, but for the service of Krishna. This is Atma Nikshepa. And the 6th one is Karpanya. Karpanya means always feel oneself meek and humble. There are 2 aspects to this. One is understanding one's own fallen state, and second is understanding the greatness of the Lord. If you just feel fallen, that situation is called as depression. That's not humility. Yes. So therefore, both aspects are needed. That I am fallen, but Lord is very great. Lord can help me. Lord can deliver me. This is the mood, that a devotee can have, and always we can meditate on Lord's greatness. That's what this Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam is filled with. Greatness of the Lord. How great my Lord is. How merciful my Lord is. All these points are mentioned. Just by meditating on this, a devotee can little bit comprehend about the greatness of the Lord. And we see this, in the life of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, when they met the Lord for the first time in Prayag. So at that time, they made it very clear, Patita Pavana hai to tumhara avatara, Amabai jagate patita nahi yara. Oh Lord, you are Patita Pavan, deliverer of the most fallen. And guess what? The recipients are standing in front of you, the most fallen entities. They were so learned, so well versed in Shastra and other things, but they were portraying themselves, not just portraying, they were feeling themselves to be very fallen. And they're knowing very well, only Lord can save me. And they're surrendering to the Lord like that. To an extent that the Lord said, give up your humility. My heart is breaking. Phate moramman. Give up your humility. And from this day on, your names will be Rupa Sanatan. Yes. So in this way, we see this is humility. Atmanikshepa is self-submission. Karpanya is humility. And we can speak a lot on these subjects. So these are the 6 limbs of surrender. Accepting things which are favorable to Krishna consciousness. Rejecting things which are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. Having complete faith that Krishna will protect. Having complete faith that Krishna will maintain me in every situation. Self-submission. Having same interest as that of the Lord. And Karpanya or humility. So these are 6 limbs of surrender. And any devotee who says, I am on the path of surrender, is expected to follow these 6 limbs of surrender. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.